Hey, what's going on, guys? Kenzie here. I'd like to welcome you all to this new series on how to control your mouth by touching the smartphone, moving the finger around the screen so that it results in moving the mouse. So hopefully you've already seen the complete app that demonstrates all the functionality. If you didn't, please have a look at the previous video within this playlist. The link to the playlist is going to be in the description below. And we start. So like I've been mentioning in the intro video demonstrating the entire app, how it works, there are two major parts. So the HTTP server with the web application and the UDP server. So let's quickly walk through the general overall architecture of the project, and then we'll dive into writing some code just straight away. So generally we have two big things to do within this project. So the first big thing, we need somehow to know where exactly user touches the screen. And one of the intuitive way of doing this was to create an Android app or an iOS app to do this for us, and then to send it to the server side. But that won't be cross-platform, that won't be platform independent. So the consideration I'm about to go for is a web interface, basically. So in order to work with the web interface, what we need an HTTP server as the backend, and the browser as the front end. So whatever touch device you have, this might be an Android smartphone, an iPhone, or a tablet, whatever touch device that is capable of running a web browser, you can use it. And if it's just open the browser, then we'll go to the specific port, to the IP address where the HTTP server is running on your laptop or PC within your current local network. So we'll go in there. I'll demonstrate all this step by step. And then every time we touch the screen and move there, it would be sending a JAX post request to the HTTP server, and that's the way how are we going to know where exactly the user has touched the screen. There would be some additional logic to get the relative offsets, because just practice has shown that it's just better to send already all the offsets, not the raw coordinates, and calculate them on the back end. Just faster to send the offsets straight ahead. That's my experiments. That's what my experiments say. But anyway, once we have done that, we then on the HTTP server side. So we have a big front end is HTTP server front end and back end. This is one front end, and another front end is the UDP server that is responsible for imitating mouse moves, mouse clicks, keyboard strokes, etc. So UDP server is something that HTTP server as the front end is talking to. So we have HTTP server as a front end, UDP server as the back end. So HTTP server handles the user input, the UDP server imitates the operating system events to move the mouse and mimic the keyboard strokes. However, the HTTP server itself also consists of front end and back end. So the back end on the HTTP server is the routes that are listening to the API, are providing some APIs for post requests to send to. So there would be API endpoints for moving the mouse, clicking the mouse, mouse up, mouse down, and a keystroke, right? So on the front end, whatever action we take, we're sending in the background, we're sending this asynchronous request to the server with those coordinates or whatever input data we're interested in. Then this HTTP server takes that data and it sends it to the UDP server. Now UDP server is running in a separate thread, obviously, just because it's a separate operating system process, and it executes whatever it has been asked to. And the way how HTTP talks to UDP, HTTP also implements the UDP client that is sending messages to UDP servers. So HTTP server, so the file with app.py containing the HTTP server would also have the UDP client inside. And the interaction protocol, well, I've developed my own very simple one, which consists from the command, then space separated things, so command, then space, then coordinates, or the key to stroke, and that's very simple. So hopefully that would be self-explanatory. So if that is clear, I think we can already start writing some code, and we'll start with the file called app.py. So I've just created an app.py file in the current working directory. This is going to be the Flask web application, and later on we'll add the UDP server on top of it. But the very first thing we want to focus on is tracking user pressing, like touching the screen, and generating the coordinate offsets that we're interested in. So without further ado, let's actually start. Alright, so here I want to define the HTTP server plus UDP client for user input handling. So this is what the code within this file is going to be doing. So now I want to import some packages. So just checking that I'm still recording. So import just packages here. Packages. So I want to say from Flask, import Flask. Then from Flask, import render template string, because I don't want to rely on the complicated project structure like having this templates folder and some things like that. Since we have the only view element, the view template, it's okay to use the render template string, and I don't care about the security vulnerabilities because it's running totally, completely within my local laptop. So I don't think that my wife is going to hack into it and steal something from my computer. That doesn't make sense. Okay, so also we need to say from Flask import request, and that's needed to handle the incoming HTTP post requests within our API. So now want to create app instance, right? So I can say app equals to Flask, and the name would be the name like this, whatever we have. Then we want to start HTTP server. I'm relying on the internal built-in HTTP server because that's fairly enough for our purposes. I can say if name is equal to main. In this case, we can simply say app.run, and I want to enable the debugging mode so that every time we change something in this file, we don't need to restart the HTTP server. So debug is equal to true. Also threaded is equal to true, just to make it faster. And also the host is going to be 0000, and the port, we can leave it, but let's define this to 5000 explicitly just to make sure it works. And now here we have the home page route. Okay, and we can simply say add symbol app.route, so this fancy wrap around the function, so app.route, and just the slash symbol because it's a root route. And the callback function, let's call it just root, or we can call it view, like user interface, whatever. It doesn't matter how we call it, so let's call it root basically. All right, and here we want to return render template string, and let's take it like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So here, let's just say hello for now, just to make sure that the web server is up and running and everything works properly. Okay, so far so good. Now I need to open the terminal in the current working directory and just say python3 app.py. Okay, and here we go. So the server is ready. And now if I go to, let's start with localhost. So we got our hello here. But obviously, I'm not going to be, it doesn't make sense to reference this web application from here because, simply because I can't, I'm going to control the mouse on this exact machine. So I need to go there from my smartphone, right? So in order to do this, well, first of all, my smartphone should be connected to the local network. Well, I'm using Wi-Fi in my case. I think you will do the same as well. So we need some additional thing to consider. So let's just create a new tab here, and I call the ifconfig command on Linux. On Windows, you can just do whatever actions needed to know the IP address of the target machine you're running this on. So for me, the target address of this machine is 192.168.135, and then port 5000. So that's the exact, so I'm just taking my smartphone now, and I'm going to the web browser. Let me do that quickly. So I'm going to the web browser, and let me just quickly type this 1934 5000. So here you see I just typed the IP address, so I hope it's seen. Let me just show you this so that you nicely see it. So here it is, and now if I just go there, hopefully okay. Yeah, my Wi-Fi doesn't work, so let's just wait a little bit until it completes. All right, I have no idea. Just hold on a sec. Okay, I'm sorry. I ran 34. Actually, it is 35. So yes, now I fix this, and hopefully, yes, we got this hello. You probably can't see it, but it's there. You see, like this hello. Yeah, my webcam is too bad, but you see this hello there. So the idea is that from now on, I can have a look at this web page in my smartphone. And this is essential for the user control. So I hope that makes sense. Alright, so from now on we can start drafting our front-end UI. So let's keep it very simple. So HTML tag, I'm not going for this fancy like specs there. We don't care about them really. So here I have the head for, we will rely on Bootstrap 5, I believe, and Jquery 2. So Jquery is going to be used for making HTTP post request, so that makes sense. And Bootstrap is just for layout, because I don't want to get distracted by the CSS stuff. I'm not really good at that. So now let's find the CDNs for both Jquery and the Bootstrap. So I go for Bootstrap 5, Bootstrap CDN, and here we go. So official CDN of Bootstrap. Okay, quick start, and we can go here, and I just grab this HTML. So it's already copied, I believe, and I paste it here. So far, so good. And also the same thing, but for Jquery. Why so long? Jquery CDN. All right. Jquery CDN. And let's grab this Minify, for instance, and we just grab the script from here, copy, and from now on we should already be capable of using this Jquery post thin. All right, great. And now the view element itself. So here I just want to give a commentary. So this is a Bootstrap. All right, so here I just want to say this is Jquery. All right, just to give an idea. And here, so I want to define the touchpad itself. Touchpad. So our touchpad is simply going to be a div. Nothing really special there. Let me just scroll up a little bit. So here, let's define a div. Let's assign the ID to this, so it's going to be touchpad. And let's define some styles. So I want to say display flex. I want to say the width is going to be 100%, right? And the height is going to be 100%. 100%, and then the background color is going to be, let's make it black. I like when it's black. And just close the div tag. And yeah, the fastest way to check this out is here. So okay, we got this, we got it. And also, if there are any errors in the UI, it's easier to check them in the browser rather than in the smartphone, obviously. So I hope it makes sense. And now also on my smartphone to double check if that is the same still. We should have, so just update. Yeah, and now we have this fantastic black screen, which is already our touchpad. So far, so good. All right, now I'm going to define the script tag here where all the magic is gonna happen, all the logic is going to happen. And here, let's start from, so listening to the touchpad, listen to on touch event, listening to, let's say, to touch event, touch move event. It's gonna be touch move specifically. So I can say document dot get element by ID. Okay, and I'm looking for a touchpad. Dot on touch move. On touch move is the name of the event, and then the callback function. So here we have the function takes the event, and the first thing I want to prevent scrolling smartphone browser, because on the touch device, if you just touch and move, it starts to scroll the browser itself. So in order to avoid this, we say event.prevent default, right? So this should be fairly enough. And then the essence is going to be like send touch move offset chords to the API. So here I can simply say jQuery post, and here so let's create an API point move. We're going to be using this one, and well, for now I just want to yeah, let's just say I'm not sure what exactly I'm going to be using. It's probably offset. Let's say offset X, and for now let's just take the general, the like global coordinates. We're not going to be using that, but for now it should be fairly enough to do like this. So event dot target touches. So when we're dealing with a touch event, it has a target touch for every finger. So this is going to be target touch 0, target touch 1, target touch 2, and so on. So we're interested at the very first one. So target touch is 0 dot client X, and here we're looking for the same but Y. So from now on, this already should be enough to work, and I just want to make sure that UI doesn't have any typos. Hopefully it doesn't. You know, to test this, well, obviously we could log this to the console, but I actually want to start defining the API. So here we have the move mouse API, or let's just move mouse pointer. I just make it like this. So homepage route, homepage. Here, move mouse pointer. So another route here. So I say app.route, and this one, so move here, right? So I'm using this move here, and you see like this object is the request body that is sent to right over in here, and since this is the post request, we also need to say methods equals to and specify the post. So it would only be capable of receiving the post request. So if you try to get there from browser, it won't allow you doing that. And now the callback function, let's call it just move. That should be fairly enough. So every function in Flask should return something like string-like object. So just say done here. We'll never see it. If you want to see this message, you can here create a callback function to see that, to make sure that the post request has succeeded. But since we're not going to be inspecting that on the smartphone, it doesn't make sense. So I'm not going to be doing that. All right, and here I just want to say print, and I want to print X and request.form. So if this was, so since this is a post request, we need to say request.form. Otherwise, for get request, it's request.args if I'm not mistaken. So request.form.get and X, because this is how it looks. And also here space y in request form get y, copy, paste. And now if I did everything properly, what should be happening is, let's go, okay, so just probably already messed up something. Name app is not defined. Yeah, that's because it's a typo. All right, so let's go, let's try again. So restarting the server, and now already, as long as I'm gonna be touching my screen, it should be sending the coordinates of where I touch. So almighty smartphone, I refresh the page. Okay, by the way, I've refreshed the page on my smartphone and it just results in a GET request because I'm asking for a route. You see, like this happens. So just again, I press here, bam, we get this GET request. So this is what's happening with the target server when you're doing some web scraping. So it really knows where exactly you're trying to steal the data from. So yeah, just a bit off topic, but anyway. So I hold my breath, and oh my god, does it work? Yes, it does. So you say, currently, I'm touching this, sorry, not the middle finger, sorry, I didn't mean that. I'm touching this, my smartphone, and the proof of concept interaction via the API actually works. So it's not perfect yet. It sends the floating point numbers, which we don't really care about. We don't need those, and lots of we don't need this exact data. We're going to be preparing the data on the front end. But the idea is that as long as I move my finger along the screen, it results in making an asynchronous post request in the background, and this results in the HTTP server actually receiving those requests with the target data. This data we'll write some code to make this data actually fit in our purposes, and once this data is ready, we'll then go for creating the UDP server that would be receiving this data from the UDP client that we'll implement here in this file, and then we'll write a logic to react to this sort of incoming data. But that's going to be the topic of the next upcoming tutorial. So this is it from my side for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Until the next time, and take care.